Welcome back to the channel. Larry here with another car review. Today I will be driving a CLK500, and this is my own personal car. I picked it up recently, so this will be my really initial thoughts and first impressions of the car. Today I'll be driving on the Sea to Sky Highway, which is a mountainous road connecting Vancouver to Whistler, world famous ski resort. And unfortunately, as you can see in the background, there's some pretty gnarly weather today, so I'm not going to really be kicking this car around a whole lot. I have driven it for the last 45 minutes, so it's really given me a good impression how it's handling these mountain roads and the rough kind of weather. And so this will be a pretty brief video. I'm just going to give some initial thoughts on the car so far, and talk a little bit about the coupe lineup from the 2000s that Mercedes-Benz built, and kind of straighten out that whole nomenclature confusion that a lot of people have. So let's start the drive, shall we? Okay, so first of all, I have to say this car has a very tight turning radius. This thing turns on a dime. The steering is a little bit heavy. I've noticed that. It is the car is not super heavy by modern standards at all. I think it's about 3,700 pounds, and this is a V8 equipped car. So that CLK500 denotes that it is a 5.0 V8 under the hood of this car. It's a fairly small coupe. Now, Mercedes had a lineup of 3 coupes at the same time. So basically you have the CLK500 here, which is based on the E-Series mid-size sedan that Mercedes was building at that particular time. They had a C-Class, which was the true C-Class, and they also had a CL500 and all the AMG variants and smaller motor variants as well. So the CL was based on the S-Class Mercedes, so that's their full-size sedan. So it gets a little bit confusing considering they all start with C. So this one is would be considered kind of the mid-range of the coupe classes, but this is really the highest model of that mid-class coupe that Mercedes built in the early to mid and later 2000s. So essentially there's going to be a lot of rain noise and windshield wiper noise, but anyway, we'll get through this review one way or another. So the CLK500, the 500 denotes that this car has a 5.0 liter engine. So it makes 302 horsepower and 339 torque. So it's a powerful engine for that particular time. BMW's competition for this car when it was built was the 330 Ci, which had a maximum of 225 horsepower. Their M3 had 333 horsepower and 200 and something torque. But the thing is this Mercedes, which is not the AMG, this is an AMG package Mercedes, by the way, but it's not an AMG product. It's not a CLK500, for example, with the bigger engine and more power. So when you compare this to the BMW 330i or 328i, this car is so much more powerful and so much more substantive, if you will. Now, I've driven all those BMWs at that particular time. I even owned a 335i twin turbo, which came a little bit later in the 2000s, which was a fantastic car and it was fast. But the fact of the matter is that this particular car, I think, is one of the most underrated coupes from the 2000s, because it was built with that 5-liter engine. And if you wanted to go even up to the AMG model, the CLK55, you got a 364 horsepower coupe. It's a small package, and all the resident AMG equipment with that as well. Now this car that I'm driving, what I own, is a CLK500. It has the AMG package, so it does have some upgraded body treatment, upgraded suspension, and it has the sport package at the press of a button. So let's get on to my initial thoughts. My first impressions of this car is that it is a very comfortable car. I would consider it a nice GT coupe. It's heavily weighted. It's got heavy steering. It's got a powerful engine. I mean, this V8, by the way, the durability and reliability reputation of this 5.0 V8 that Mercedes made in the 2000s is of a superior quality. So, I mean, this has about 120,000 miles, so 190,000 kilometers for you Canadians, and it doesn't miss a beat. Like, it feels strong, it feels excellent. There's no noises, there's no funny issues, there's no leakages of any types, no fluids leaking out of this engine whatsoever. And so, you know, true to its reputation, the engine drives strong, it feels very crisp, and I'm very happy with it. It's fast, it's powerful. I'm not going to kick this car into a high speed at this particular time because we're just running into some fairly gnarly weather. Anyway, the car, you know, it's luxurious. The interior is very comfortable. You can see a little bit of it. It's got a nice sunroof and moonroof. The steering is heavily weighted. The steering wheel is quite nice, leather wrapped, of course, and it's got a nice thick polished feel to it. The stereo in the car is definitely a letdown. I talked to Mercedes themselves. I gave them the VIN number, and I have kind of the lower system. It has about 8 speakers, but it's not amplified, no amplified subwoofer, so the sound's pretty bad. So it's something I would address. It's one of the first things I'll address in this car. Okay, back to the drivability of the car. Like I said, it feels like sort of a heavy-ish GT cruiser. I mean, it does have a big V8, a big 5-liter V8 over the front axle. It's a very stable car, feels very heavy, very safe, very secure. It handles very nicely. It runs very smoothly. I mean, I have nothing but really good things to say about it. As far as the looks of the car, if you squint your eyes a little bit, it actually looks like the bigger CL class. It has the pillarless B pillar, which is really nice. So you can open up the moonroof, the side windows, and all that kind of stuff. And it really opens up the car. We're not quite into the good weather yet, so, you know, I haven't really done that too much. But it does look quite good from the side profile because of that pillarless B pillar. It's kind of an oxymoron. But anyway, moving on. The front end has the 4 sort of separate headlights, but they conjoined them in this particular model, and I don't know if I like it or not. The jury's still out on that. I'll be putting pictures up alongside this commentary, of course. The rear end sort of has that E-Class rear look to it from the E-Class sedan, and that's not a bad thing. That car aged very well in its style. I think this car is aging well as the E-Class, certainly. And you know, from my general impressions, just kind of looking at the car after I park it, seeing it in the garage, and so on and so forth, I think it's an attractive car. I think it's a good-looking car. And, you know, it looks a little bit dated, but I think it's more like a vintage good look, and it's really not a classic car by any stretch of the imagination. It has all the modern amenities, everything is electronic, you know, really nice climate control, works perfectly. You know, it's got rain sensing windshield wipers, just to name a few things. Really nice, like, I don't know, a gazillion way seat adjustment controls, memory seating, and that includes the mirror position as well. So it really comes with a lot of bells and whistles. Now, again, this is the CLK500, so it's an upperclassman of its particular model, and so it does have a lot of the you know, features and benefits that goes with the price that this car came with originally. There is a CLK320, and I believe there are some diesel models overseas as well, with some smaller engines, more sort of efficient CLKs, if you will. Here in North America, everyone's panicking about the price of gas. I just paid close to $2 per liter and that was for the super grade gas, 92 rated. So I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a little gas here. Ooh, there we go. Oh, wow! I gotta tell you, this car's legitimately fast, and you can hear the rumble of the V8 in the background. I hope the rain spatter on the windshield's not drowning it out, but the car's legitimately fast. I mean, it really goes. You know, when you have a small sort of, by modern day comparison, coupe, you know, 3,600 pounds, whatever it is, with a big honking V8, 5-liter V8 under the hood, it's going to move this car pretty quickly. So that's one thing I'll say. This is a very fast car. So what else can I say about the car? I mean, it looks pretty good. It's not going to win any rewards for being, you know, ultra beautiful or exceptionally, you know, collectible, I don't think. But the nice thing about this car is having this car and driving this car is that cars like this are just not built anymore. This is a small 2-door coupe built by Mercedes-Benz with a big 5-liter V8 under the hood, rear wheel drive, and cars like this just are not coming back. Cars like this will never be built again. I'm sorry to say, not here anyway, and I don't think in Europe for sure, and definitely not South America. So, you know, in order to get a V8 under the hood of a car in the future, you're gonna have to go up to like Ferraris, you know, sort of semi-exotic upper end German cars, Italian cars, because 5-liter V8s in a rear wheel drive coupe is just 2022 and on, just not going to happen too much. So, you know, in a way, this is really a kind of like a very discounted, you know, by today's standards, type of car that it's just not accessible. So I'm happy to have this car. I don't know how long I'll have it, but in closing, I just wanted to say that, you know, these are some of my initial impressions, you know, along with a few photographs. It's been a bit of a difficult video to make today because the weather is just horrible. I'll get it out on the next sunny day and, you know, maybe do another follow-up video to the CLK500. I'll also do a 6-month and a 12-month video, which is normally what I do. And so guys, thanks a lot for dropping in on this video. I wish I could say a little bit more, but I've only had the car for 3 weeks, and I hope you enjoyed the small drive that you had with me today. Initial impressions on the Mercedes-Benz CLK500. I will come back with a 6-month and a 12-month review, and hopefully under better weather circumstances. We are going into spring here in Canada, so take a look around the channel, subscribe, tap that notifications bell. The channel is not for profit, it's just a hobbyist channel, so there's no advertising or anything like that. Coming to you from Vancouver, where it rains, it rains, it rains, it rains. It's just raining all the time here. Pretty hard to make car videos when it's just wall-to-wall rain, wall-to-wall traffic because of the rain. But let's try.